Bradley Pendragon is out amongst us.
Yeah, WA's worst pedophile, he's probably WA's worst person actually, is free, out in the community undergoing intensive therapy. Because therapy is going to convince someone who has been raping kids since 1982 to see the error of their ways. Well done, justice system. There was a time when journos made a name for themselves outing the location of pedophiles.
I named 2 notorious sex offenders who had their names suppressed, men who had committed such awful crimes I can hardly describe them to you.
Darren Hinch was in his element going after these creeps.
He'll be sentenced on contempt of court charges after breaching suppression orders by publicly outing 2 paedophiles.
The US TV show To Catch a Predator, remember that one? Yep. Ran for 4 seasons.
Oh, please, God, please, sir.
They turned outing pedos into a form of entertainment.
It's a different time now.
Not many viewers will realise this, but it is illegal for anyone, journo or otherwise, to identify where Bradley Pendragon is living. And if you do, there's a very good chance you will go to jail or get a very big fine. If you see Dragon walking down the street and you out him...
Pedo!
What?
Pedo!
You get on your socials to warn your mates and say that he's living in Pedo Street in whatever suburb, you will be in contempt of court because the judge who let him out has slapped a suppression order on where he is living. So it is illegal to warn people that have kids that this guy's living near them, even though he raped and beat young girls as young as 8, forced himself on a 9-year-old girl who had a mental disability, attacked a young mum from the back seat of her car while sitting next to her baby, and collected gigabytes of child sex abuse material with a fair old lashing of bestiality. They're just some of the crimes Dragon has committed during his 40-year career of preying on small, vulnerable children.
God, what will people do if they see him on the street?
They'll want to do this. Unfortunately, we need to treat child molesters better than Darwin pub owners treat crocs. That's real footage, by the way. The judiciary is protecting Dragon because they don't want a lynch mob. The Community Protection Offender Reporting Act 2004 allows for you to be jailed for 10 years if you create, promote or increase animosity toward or harassment of a registered sex offender, or you publish, distribute or display any photographs or personal information about them.
So you're on thin ice.
Yeah. Vigilante justice isn't what we do in a civilised society because sometimes the vigilantes get the wrong guy. In 2013, a 44-year-old man from Bristol in England was killed by people who mistakenly thought he was a pedophile. They beat him unconscious, dragged him into the street and set him on fire.
I don't think there'd be mistaken identity with Dragon.
No. He's got a pretty distinctive look. Pedo, hobo, boho.
Well, surely he'll be keeping a low profile. I mean, he must know everyone hates him.
No. This is the problem with this guy. He thinks it's normal to want to have sex with children. He believes society is repressive about sex with kids and he's been victimised for his beliefs. Now that last bit alone will make people want to hunt him down and do terrible things to him, but if you do, it means the cops will have to relocate him. The police know that sure as night follows day, he's going to try to get a kid. So there will be a team of cops watching him 24/7. And if they have to relocate him because you've outed him, that job gets a lot harder.
Well, maybe they could relocate him out of WA, anywhere but here.
So stick him on a plane, send him to some god-awful place, like Qantas economy class. Qantas boss Alan Joyce is in town. He's close to announcing a new Perth-Joburg flight.
Big crowd.
Yeah, close to 700 people at Crown. And while they all liked Alan's sense of humour, he was very entertaining.
And he said he didn't get a chance to taste good Western Australia cakes because they was thrown in your face, but they do taste nice. So thanks for that, Kerry.
They made it clear they didn't like his airline's post-COVID business class offering.
You know, our goal should be a society without classes.
Not much chop, apparently. I wouldn't know because the closest I get to a business class seat is when I walk past it on the way to seat 62F, way down the back of the bus.
Yeah, you and me both.
Do you realise the people up here are getting cookies?
$5,000 return to go to the East Coast. That's twice what Virgin charges for their business class tickets. And it's an expensive roll of the dice with Qantas because the Perth flights are either in a flash A330 or a clapped out 737, which means your seat might be this.
This is the best Sunday I've ever had.
Man.
Or it might be this.
Help me.
And regardless of what seat you're in, you're going to probably be drinking this stuff. That's the white wine that's being served in business class recently. You can buy it online for $24 a bottle. Qantas Wine Club members get it for $19.99.
Might taste great.
It probably does. And to be honest, at $24, it's still too rich for our blood. And there is a line of thinking that the sommeliers at Qantas know their grapes, so you should all go out and buy it right now because it's good. But if you fork out $5 large for your ticket, you'd maybe want something a little bit more fancy.
Sir, I'd like your finest bottle of wine, please.
That will be $1,600.
More importantly, if they're drinking a $20 chuck up at the pointy end, what are they serving you and me down in scum class?
I'd like your $8-est bottle of wine, please.
Shame you can't BYO.
Yeah, it'll make life a little bit better. You don't even get a tray for your meal in economy anymore. They just chuck a box of food at you.
There's no dessert here. I'm a vegetarian, not a vegan, so I'd quite like some chocolate mousse, please.
If you're a vegetarian, you don't get a chocolate mousse.
Last Qantas flight someone I know took, they didn't even have cheese and crackers. They're reducing COVID touch points by limiting service, apparently. She's devastated. Do you know how miserable life is if you are actually looking forward to a matchbox-sized piece of cheese and 4 dry white biscuits?
You're a very difficult customer, madam. There was no need to be rude.
At least you know you won't be sitting next to Dragon.
One of his 60-odd conditions of release is he can't travel, so thank God for small mercies.
Good evening, I'm Darren Hinch.
I knew you'd do that. I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.